Welcome back, everybody, to Unconditional Surrender in Europe, game designed by Salvatore Vasta, published by GMT Games. This is the East First series of playthroughs. We are going into May of 1943. And so we'll get going here. Make this a wee bit smaller so we can see a little bit more of the map. Okay, there's no declarations of war. We have enough people at war. So we're going to go into the economy phase, which will just watch us move counters around. The Germans are at max. 15 minus 1 is 14, plus 3, 17, 34. And they give 1 to Italy. They keep thinking about it, but they finally. I'm not sure if he changed his mind there. And I did not give 1 to the Turks or the Soviets. I think the Germans kept all theirs this turn. And so now we're doing strategic warfare. I'm plus 3 and he is plus 1 because he still has an airplane up here in wherever it is, Stavanger. And he also has 3 conquered, 3 stacks of 3, so 9 conquered countries. So it's plus 1 to plus 3. And he rolled a 3 plus 1 as a 4. I rolled a 3 plus 3 as a 6, which is just enough to chip him a factory. And then we go over to the west. I had 1 bombed marker, and he threw his submarines. I threw my ultra. So we're both halved. And he's still only plus 1 because he hasn't quite taken Brest in France from me. Let's see, zone 7. And so he rolled a 1. Plus 1 is a 2, halved to a 1. I rolled a 7, halved to 3.5 becomes a 4, so I chipped him another factory. His thing came back in 5. Mine came back in 2. And we move on into strategic movement. Get this out of the way. I'm not sure if he had 1. Well, we'll see. He'll move something. Oh, yes, he brought the Italian infantry that he had built in Bologna. He brought it down to the toe. And then in the west, I did my... I really am not in a good position to do any kind of invasions of Sicily or Italy or anything. So I'm conserving my production points and just moving the BEF up to Tunis to get it in position. Now all my units, I got 1 in Tripoli, 1 in Tunis, and 1 here in Benghazi. All 3 of those can invade Sicily from different places. The one in Benghazi could actually get off to Brindisi, Taranto's, as well as the one in Tripoli. And the one in Tripoli can make it to C-Zone 19, or the one in Tunis can go 19, 22, or 21. So I have multiple places I can do invasions, which is going to require him to sort of defend everywhere. And we all know that defending everywhere defends nothing. So hopefully that will work out. I don't know. Soviets. Did I do anything with Soviets? I didn't do anything with the Soviets. So, we're in the operations phase. I had to take my marker off. Axis operations. So he came. It's for those of you who don't know, it's poor everywhere for the weather. Sorry, didn't mention that earlier. We rolled that last turn. So he's going to go ahead and try and kick me out of France. Does a major assault here. I think we both throw in airplanes too. That was us setting what it was before we started. It's plus 3 to plus 2 before we started. This is us playing around on the commitment, which we both do. His airplane, my airplane. So now we're setting the combat. He's at, excuse me, I'm at a net minus 2. No, I'm at minus 3. And he's at minus 1. He rolled a 5 minus 1 is a 4. I rolled a 2 minus 3 is a 2, or is a 1, so I took 2 sorties. He only took 1, but we're both in the combat, so we both go back to setting up the things, and he's now plus 3, 4, 5, 6, And then he gets 2 more for... So he's basically, what he is he's 3, 4, 5, 6 for the airplane, 7, 8 because I'm isolated. And then -2, 1 for the weather, 1 for the city. So he's +6 to +3. So a pretty good chance that he's going to be able to kick me off here. He rolled a 6 + 6 is a 12. It's pretty good die roll. I rolled a 3 + 3, which is a 6. And if you look on the combat results table, a 12 to a 6, it's just enough with my +3 to be a DR. So I had to make a decision. Do I just want to leave, or do I want to try and hang on to it for one more turn? And being stubborn Brit that I am, I decided to stay there because he didn't have anybody else that could run down there and really assault me. There's nobody within range that can actually get off a good assault. So I decided to stay there. Then he took this guy in Genoa, the German, and goes, I'm marching here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Down to there, onto the casino line. That hex is important for those of you that don't know. The reason why you want to have something in that hex, if you have Rome occupied like he does, I could land an infantry unit there and not attack at Naples, attack at Rome instead for one invasion, and then say have another invasion, take one of the cities in Sicily, and I would conquer Italy right away because he's down to 5 will points. So he's got to kind of protect against silly invasions like that. And then he takes the infantry that was in Milan and moves it into Genoa, the Italian. And then he goes over to the east, and he does his standard. Basically, he has a couple of 3 attacks that he makes every turn in the poor weather. This is one of them. Then he's going to set up another one down here. And he sets up another one down here. So everything is set up, and he just goes ahead and puts on salt markers. And then I think we started in the north. Did he start in the north? Oh, yeah, we're doing combat commitment, aren't we? Yes. We are, and it's kind of like, it's almost like we don't need to do this. We know we're both going to commit the airplanes because neither one of us can stop the other one. And so we both go in, I take 1, he takes 1. So he gets an extra +1 there, so now we're going to go set the die roll modifiers. I'm 1 for the shock and 1 for the airplane, so I'm 2. Shock and poor is only getting his elite bonus. He doesn't get his shock bonus in poor. And then he was +5 because he's 3. This guy's in infantry 4. This guy's in infantry 5. Airplane makes 6 -1 for the weather. So he rolled a 4 + 5 is a 9. I rolled a 5 + 2 is a 7, which is just barely enough to not be retreated. So yay! I didn't retreat a hex for a change. And down here he's going to be 2, 3, 4. And let's see, I'm taking off his assault markers. Is it 4 -1? So he's +3 to my +1 because I'm elite. And I think we go to combat commitment again. Yes, we do. He does not. I do. I throw in my airplane that's sitting right there. Somewhere. Yeah, the one in the center here by Smolensk. I shoot that one in. So I go up to +2. So it's +3 to +2. Get that off the board. He rolls a 2 + 3 is a 5. I rolled a 4 + 2 is a 6. So nothing happened there. Let's come off. And now he's going down to the south, and he does attack on the 7th Guards, which is, one of these guys is the primary. So he's +2, +3, +4. And then we go to combat commitment, I'm pretty sure. And he did not, and I did, which initially I didn't understand, but I understand after he does his next move why he did that. So, again, it's a +3 to a +2. He rolls a 2 + 3 is a 5. I rolled a 6 + 2 is an 8. 5 to an 8 is just an AS. No lucky AAs here. So, oops, what am I hitting there? So he just takes those off, and then he comes down here and he makes an air move up to Domostic. And then we go to attacking the 4th Tanks Guards, 4th Tank Army down there. Trying to get me to retreat so he can get his armor out again. And we both commit. Both throwing our airplanes. Again, we can't stop each other. And he throws in his tanks. So he's 3 for the armored unit here. Show that. There's the armored unit. There's an infantry unit. This infantry thinks he's armored, so he's 3, 4, 5, 6, -1. So he's +5 to my +2. And he goes a 2, +5 is a 7. I rolled a 3, +2 is a 5, just enough to hold the hex. So, yay, I held out. He didn't take any ground from me this turn. And then he's doing his supply. The only thing he really has to supply is the airplane up here at Stravanger because he wants to be full, which prevents me from running around a northern route. I have to face his aircraft with my bomber. And this is the western now. I'm making sure the corridor is still there, and sure enough, checked to make sure everything was being covered. And so I go flying out of... We use bond markers to trace the path. It's just simpler. I'm thinking about making sort of a generic bomber counter with just the picture on it and no name, maybe in white with black or something, and have it just have a movement trail trait so that you could just do this. So he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And there I am. And he goes, yeah, I'll go after you. And he rolled a 1. He rolled before I could set his modifier. He's actually a net -2. So he ends up at a 1. And then when he rolls the next one, I still hadn't reset the bloody thing when I go again. Because I actually take my sortie and then I fly there and I say, you want to go after me? He goes like, yeah, sure. And he rolled a 1 again. And again, it should be -2, not a +5. So that one got through. He didn't intercept me a second time to run up my sorties because it would take him up to 5 as well. So he was content with that. And now I have no idea what I'm doing. All right. It's just us turning off the ranges. Don't think I did anything. I think I'm just doing supply here now. Yeah. And then down here, what did I do? Oh, the Americans. Supplied themselves here. I think the fleet was supposed to go up 2 as well. Then we go over to the Soviets. Oh no, I didn't have to take the fleet up. This was just me getting in a good habit because the fleet that he had that could intercept me in the C-Zone, because this fleet here in Palermo is actually on C-Zone 19, not 22. So it's not 2 C-Zones to get to 24 from Palermo. He can do things in Eastern Mediterranean from Palermo, but not over here. And this thing, because it's at -4 plus -2 for the weather, it would be a -6. So he could not get enough to get a DR2. He has to get a DR to stop my supply. So I didn't even bother to do the escort. Although it wouldn't have mattered because the Americans get their stuff back free. Right? So it doesn't really matter points-wise. Anyway, back up here in the Soviet Union, I think we start... What should I do? Yes, I start setting up my assaults. We go there. I want to get him away from Kharkov. And then we go ahead and line up on the Panzer. then I think we went and lined up here. And before I go, I think I run some air. Did I run the air sortie thingy already? Yes, I did. This airplane that's here used to be at 2. He runs up his sortie because he's at -5 net, and I'm at -4 net, so it's just a sortie each. That's why we did that. Okay. I have no idea which one I'm doing first. Am I starting in the north or am I starting in the south? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, he's a 3, and I'm a net 4 before combat commitment, which he can't do any, so it's just. And there's 2 shock armies here. That's why it's 2. He's 1, +2, +2. So that's 5, -1 is 4. He starts off at 3, 2 for German, 1 for armor and poor. And I throw in. What am I doing? Did I start in the south? Maybe I started in the south. I think I started in the south. Because I was like, if I get off here, I would have spent some points and not been able to bring something back. Either an airplane or something. I wouldn't have been able to do everything I wanted to do with my production points, but if I flipped this armored, I wanted to be able to go here and here using tanks markers in the airplane to try and eliminate it. But that was not to be. 3 + 3 is not good enough. 4 + 3, he stops me. So we just get rid of that. And then I'm going from the south north. So then I'm going here, and let's see here. What have I got? Here's a guards army with 1, a shock army, and a shock army. So the guards army adds a tank to it, so it's actually 2. 3, 4, 5, 6. -1 is +5. Before we go to combat commitment, and then I throw in the airplane for 6 and subtract 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should have been 6, 7. Okay, so it's 2 for each of these units, and 1 for the airplane makes 7. Subtract 1, so I'm +6 to his +2. So hopefully I'm going to get something out of this. I get a 2 + 6 is an 8. Not looking good. But he managed to roll low enough to force a retreat, so out he goes. Put a shock army in there. Get those off the board. Go up to the center here. Attacking the 6th. Again, I'm just kind of trying to push him back a hex row. Give myself a little breathing room. And this one is he's the primary, so he starts at 1, 2, and then 3, 4. I think I will throw in an airplane here. 5. The cursed airplane? I don't remember what I did. No, I didn't take off. Yeah, I throw in a tanks and a cursed airplane, so I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, -1. So I should be +5 to +2. Rolled a 2 + 5 is a 7. He rolled a 1 + 2 is a 3, so he's only retreated. So he backs up. I just shove a tank army in there. And get rid of all these salt markers. And put my tank on the turn track. And then I think we go to the north. Why did I jump to the south? I have no idea. Then we go to the north, and we're going to kind of do the same thing. It's a shock army. Guards army gets the tank. And a shock army. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Throw in an airplane from here somewhere to the north. So I go up to 7, and then I'm -1. So it should be +6 to +3. Rolled a 4 + 6 is a 10. He rolled a 4 + 3 is a 7. So he's retreated, goes behind the river. And I go ahead and take the hex. And get those things off the board. And then I think... Yes, I moved this guy. Now the reason why I did this... Back up a step. This guy's sitting there and you go, huh, that's not all that bad. But it's possible that the German could attack across that river, get a DE on him, have a no enemy zone of control, be able to move out and around and come back around to hit Rostov from behind, and then have this guy have infantry and stuff. I saw this whole group of 3 possibly getting crunched. And I just wanted abundance of caution, so I said, nah, let's just get the heck out of the dodge. Now he has to attack like real armies, things that have at least +1s on them, depending on the weather. So, and then I was done. And so we go into no supply phase, nobody does anything there. Replacements for the Axis. And he's going to take off a bunch of points and start doing airplanes. So he takes 2 sorties down there, takes 2 sorties up there, gets 2 sorties off the one in France, 2 sorties off the guy in Germany, and goes ahead and takes 2 sorties off of his German convoy, because he didn't have anything else to spend the points on. And then we went to... Oh, and then he's doing the Italians, and I believe he's going to... I think he does his airplane? He does his fleet. He does both fleets, so that's 8. And then flips over the guy in Genoa for 9. Because you can't flip the guy under the strategic move marker. And then we go into the Western replacements. First thing I do is go around and get all the Americans back, because I keep forgetting to do that. So that's me doing that here. And then I had this convoy up here that I said I needed to do. Now I start spending points on the Brits. So there's 3. And I had to do 8 more, so that was like 11. Now I'm doing my airplanes. That's 3, 6, that's 17. Then I did convoys here. 23, 26, which is what I was, because I had to flip the guy over for 2, so that was in Brest. So there you go. I used up all my points. Didn't get very far like I would like to, but that's the way it goes sometimes. And the Soviets basically do their airplanes. And upgrades for the Soviets. No upgrades for the Germans of the West. The upgrades for the Soviets, I did do a couple of upgrades here. I was thinking really hard about where I needed to do it, and I decided that the first tank army became the 3rd Guards tank army. And I have 1 more to place, and I went ahead and placed it down here where I stuck that armored in the advance. Now I have a Guards tank army there, which is, you know, a little bit stronger, maybe be able to hold out against a German assault or whatever. And it's also in a position to maybe, you know, threaten to actually do something. I thought about putting it way down here in the south, and I'm like, I already have 1 Guards tank army there. And I'm trying to make sure I have enough punch. So a Guards tank army with several shock armies up here, if I get fair weather. Guards tank army with some guards up here. These shock armies can support this Guards tank army to try and break through here. So I have different places I can break through. He's got to figure out a way to defend. Trying to figure out where I'm really going to go. So, and I think that was it. Ah, yes, and then I yes, I took the 23rd and the 40, whatever. One of them was in Turkey, and I went ahead and took those guys to put down another Guards tank, Guards mobile infantry. So now I have 3 Guards mobile infantry and a tank here. So there's a threat if I can try and maybe break through the miners somehow, and then have some of these fast guys just be able to run Because, I mean, the lovely thing is if I can run, I can, like, run around and capture Domstrik. That's a supply source for me. If I can run and capture Odessa, or run around and capture Kiev, they're supply sources for me. So if I can run a long way and be sitting on a supply source, he's got to do something about it with his army. He's got to retreat or whatever. That's the way I look at that. That's why I'm doing that. And mobilization. The Axis still at a point, so they went and built their garrison in Königsberg. And we got to the Soviets. Oh, did the Western Allies build something? 15, 20, hey, run over here. Oh, no, it's the Soviets build their convoy in Leningrad, so now there's a threat of me being able to, like, land in Tallinn and possibly cut this guy off. So he's got to do something about it. And then there's no diplomacy. We go to victory check, not even close. End of turn phase is just us getting stuff off the turn track. So I get 3 tanks. I get a surprise attack marker back. He gets his, I get my partisans. He gets tanks, heavy artillery, and then he gets a garrison to build. And I get 2 partisans from for the Russians, and I get a bomber. I get another bomber to come in here in the last half of 43, so I'll have 2 bombers against his fighters. So hopefully we're going to start chipping away at the German production capability. And go here, and let's turn this off. And we'll turn on these 2 because the next thing we're going to do is roll the weather. And he rolls a 4. Now, remember, we were in May. So we have to go to the May. Everything was poor. So we go to the May poor. And a 1 through 4 in the cold zone actually makes it fair. And then a 1 in June, a 1 is always fair in the other 2. So I get fair weather all the way through here, and then I'm going to have 3 more fair weather turns, July, August, and September. So I have 4 fair weather turns in a row for the Allies. The Germans have that too, but they're not in as good an offensive position as possible. I see them using it to possibly break my line or maybe take out some of my offensive guys. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to lose Brest in fair weather. Because the 2 armors and an airplane at full, and I'm not, is just a little too hard for me to stop. But we'll see how the dice roll next turn. And then that should be... Yep, that's it. So that's the end of the log file. So that's the end of the turn. So there was May of 1943. We'll be back with June next time around. Maybe I'll even have the latest module there. I don't know. So, again, that was May 1943 of the East First campaign. As always, I'm Dren608. If you like my videos, please subscribe. Hit that like button so that YouTube's algorithms will keep this up for other people to find and be able to view. And until we meet again, stay safe. Bye-bye.